Okay, good afternoon. In this lecture, I am going to discuss, or we can say that I am going to introduce the novel The Inheritance of Loss by Kiran Desai to you. I will be just introducing the novel and will be highlighting certain concept which I will be using to examine the novel from diasporic or from new colonial perspective. I want to clarify one thing, that this discussion is from diasporic perspective only, but I will be including some of the concept in order to examine the issue of national consciousness and resistance and the problem of third world labor in the developed country from colonial perspective, from new colonial perspective, as well as from diasporic perspective. Let me start introducing the novel The Inheritance of Loss, focusing on the dominant themes and ideas which are embedded in the texture of the novel. Kiran Desai's Man Booker Prize winning novel The Inheritance of Loss has been held as a global novel for the globalized world. This is very important here to underline and to think on it, that it has been identified, the novel has been recognized as a global novel for the globalized world. So the novel is not, we can say that novel is not basically about the story of Jemubhai Patel, Bizu, Sai, and some more character belonging to the margins of the society, but basically novel is about the laborers. In fact, novel is about the workers, in fact, who provide their services in hotel, restaurant, in dhabas, at petrol pump, at all these kind of places actually, who provide their services. And these laborers or these workers are basically migrant. They have shifted from one place to the another place. They have migrated from one place to the another place, but their root, their belonging, their memory is still alive in their mind. So this novel is about the suffering, is about the problems, is about the problems faced by the migrants, faced by the diasporic peoples. The novel is redolent with many pressing contemporary themes and issues like migration and exile. The lingering effect of colonialism, the struggles with modernity, ethnic conflicts, desperate search for an identity and livelihood, neo-colonial subalternity, and globalization and its discontents. These are the major themes which are very much visible or evidently clear in the narrative of the novel. And all these themes, taking from migration to globalization and discontent, they are fundamentally, they are basically related with the problem of labor class, or with the problem of third world workers. The novel also highlights, this is very important, the novel also highlights the resultant violence that threats the established way of life. This emerges because of rapidly growing impact of globalization and capitalism in India, which manifest as the form of new colonialism. So this, when I am using the word new colonialism, I want to contextualize it with the problem of labor class, or with the relationship of master and servant, with the relationship of privileged and unprivileged, with the issues of labor class, which they are suffering in their own state, in their own nation. And these laborers, these working class are treated by the masters, or by the elite class, we can say, as the citizen of, we can say, as someone who is very low, who is very poor, who belong to the margins of the society. So novel basically underlines the conflict between higher class and the lower class. So lower class here can be treated, can be understood as the diaspora, or as the ethnic community, or as the tribal community, or as someone who has been marginalized, who has been systematically marginalized by the dominant discourses of power. In brief, I would try to narrate the story of the novel, so that you may be acquainted with the story, with the characters, and with the themes which is embedded in the text actually. So we see that novel is set in both India and the US, that is Kalimpong and New York respectively, during the mid-1980s. The central character of the novel, around whom the story runs, is Jemubhai Patel, who is a retired judge, resides with his granddaughter Sai and his dog Mut, and a cook, Panna Lal, in country house in Kalimpong, situated in northeastern India beside the Nepal border. Biju, who is son of Panna Lal, is a recent illegal immigrant to New York, who works as a waiter at various restaurants. So Desai has very systematically depicted the scenes from restaurants in order to highlight uh, the problem of third world labor in the global context, or we can say, in order to underline the problems, various kind of problems faced by the diasporic people in the alien land. Desai, in the novel, we find that Desai, instead of emphasizing these running stories in the novel, the story of Jemubai Patel, Biju, Pannalal, Sai, and rest of the character in the novel, she focuses on the hierarchical relationship. She focuses on the hierarchical relationship and the bourgeois ideology embedded in the post independence Indian society, both at the local and global levels. So both in the context of local as well as in connection with the global scene, she attempts to highlight the hierarchical relation. This relationship may be between master and servant. It may be between developed and underdeveloped. It may be between first world and third world. It may be between even in the family. So she highlights on the hierarchical relationship that is prevailing in local and as well as in the global scene. So Desai in the novel, we can see that Desai in the novel uses the method, a very particular kind of method, to attract the attention of the readers and intellectuals, to attract the attention of reader and intellectuals towards the existing hierarchical division of Indian society, India as a nation state, and particularly the citizen of the first world and the third world country. So this discussion actually that I have devised, in fact that I have planned to deliver, is based to examine the novel from diasporic perspective as well as from neo-colonial perspective too. Underpinning, I will be trying to underline the new form of subalternity. This new form of subalternity is basically related to the problem of immigrants, is related with the problem of diasporic people, or is related with the problem of ethnic communities or tribal communities. So we will try to formulate the new form of subalternity, and we will try to examine the new form of subalternity and the certain kind of power practice that is still being used in the countries like USA and India, with particular reference to Fanon's idea of psychological domination, and with his theory of decolonization and resistance. This particular lecture, in fact, will be divided in three parts. In the first part of the lecture, I will try to define, we will try to understand what is in fact neo-colonialism, and how this problem of third world labor can be can be contextualized or can be instrumental to understand the politics being done at the international or being done at the global level actually. And in the second part of the lecture, I will be taking into consideration the story of Pannalal and his relationship and issues related with Jemubai Patel and his daughter Sai. And in the third part of the lecture, I will be addressing the problem of labors in associating it with Biju and some of the more characters in the novel. And here we will be trying to discuss the problem of diasporic people, which is being faced by the diasporic soul in the alien land. So the second part of the lecture will address the interconnection. Between neocolonialism and globalization, with particular reference to Frantz Fanon's idea of decolonization, national consciousness, resistance, and liberation. So let us come to the second part of this lecture, and here I will try to familiarize you with the concept of neocolonialism. I will not go in detail of this theory. I will be just referring to three definitions and the some ideas, so that this concept of neocolonialism may be clear. It may be clear to you, and you can look at the novel or you can look at the narrative of the story from a different perspective in connection with diasporic discourses. So let me start with the basic definition of neocolonialism that I have taken from Oxford English Dictionary. The Oxford English Dictionary defines the term neocolonialism. This is very important. This is very basic definition of neocolonialism, and I hope that if you understand this definition or try to elaborate this definition, you would be in the condition to understand what is a neocolonialism. So Oxford Dictionary defines the term neocolonialism as the use of economic and political pressure. Let me emphasize on the word, as the use of economic and political pressure by the powerful countries to control or influence the other countries. So the word "other" also exists here. Let me say one thing here, that wherever the concept of self and other is there, we can trace out the tenets or tendency of colonialism, neocolonialism, or post-colonialism, sort of propensity there. So it says, let me repeat the definition. It says